Hey, Xiomy here. This isn't my regular voice. I'm a little bit sick, but bear with me. I just wanted to give like a mini review on The Kiss of Deception. I'm just gonna say it right away. I freaking love this book. It was amazing. It was an amazing writing. Marie E. Pearson, you did an amazing job. You pissed the hell out of me. I have to admit that you did. But there were times when this book basically became like I could predict what was gonna happen. I mean, I know when I read the synopsis, I was like, okay, so she's gonna go into a faraway land or whatever, and she's gonna fall in love with the prince, not even knowing he's the prince, and blah blah blah. And basically, that is, the outcome of it. But the way that it's brought to you, and the way that it's intertwined, and the way that you know the outcomes just play with one another is what made it even more interesting. I mean, this book was simply amazing. Characters, I love the three main characters. Leah, the princess, I loved her. She was amazing. She was relatable, which is something that I usually don't typically find in 17-year-olds. Sometimes I find them a little bit annoying, but that's just me. I have a short fuse. But she was really relatable, and I loved it because what's happening is basically that she gets betrothed to the king of Dalbreak, and this is something that she wants. She wants to fall in love with someone who will love her for who she is, and she basically like gets tired of it, and she, on the night of her wedding, or on the eve of her wedding, she decides to leave. She decides to run away. And basically the first 7 chapters are a little bit slow, but I don't consider them unnecessary because they showed you a lot more about Leah, how she wanted to persevere, how she gave misleading clues so not even anybody can find her, because she wanted to start anew. She wanted to start a new life, and that's what I thought was even more amazing, because when you come to see it, the prince and both the assassin thought that she was a naive little princess, that she was gonna leave breadcrumbs everywhere so she could be found. But that was totally the opposite. I mean, she led misleading clues, and she didn't really want to be found, and that's what was even more amazing. You got to learn a little bit more about Leah, and that I found was completely different and amazing, and that's what I loved about the book. It was brilliantly written. It was exceptionally portrayed. I loved both characters. I didn't like for the fact that you didn't know who the prince and who the assassin were. Basically, like around chapter 20 something, like 23 or 30 something, basically like around that chapter, somewhere around there, I don't remember right now. You're like, Gwyneth starts to portray like little bits and details of them, and you're like, okay, this is the prince, this is the assassin. And then there's a part where they like basically like they befriend one another, and you're like, wait a minute, is this happening? And then you go back and you're like, oh my god, yes, they are befriending one another. And it's basically cool because they like see something different in one another, and they're like, wait, let me have him close to me because I don't know what kind of person this man is. And I thought that was amazing, the fact that they both fall for her. A love triangle as always. But it was nice because you didn't see this happening with the prince. I mean, you expected him to kill her, and I was like, oh my god, Leah, you're gonna die. Oh my god, Leah, you're gonna die. And then when he finally falls in love with her in his own way, right? He is an assassin, was just so amazing. And I was like, what is happening here? There were parts when I was like, oh my god, assassin, you're so lovely, you're so amazing, I love you. And then obviously the reality set in that he is an assassin. But I really did love that. And basically like around chapter 40 something is when you're like, god damn it, Kaden, you're the assassin. I was like, no, this can't be. And Raph is the prince. And what I even hate even more was, I'm the type of person that has to know the names of your protagonist like right away, and or your antagonist. And this was like biting at me because I was like, okay, we have minor characters, we have secondary characters here and there, and they're being portrayed and they're being explained and whatnot, but give me the main characters. And I was like, oh my god. And basically like the last 2 pages is when you really learn the prince's full name, and I'm like, are you kidding me? Huh. But honestly, this was an amazing book. If you haven't read it, read it. It's brilliantly written. It's executed perfectly. I am gonna say there are 2 parts that really like broke my heart, that made me like really cry. I couldn't even see. I had to just stop. And that's basically when when Walter comes in saying that that Greta, his wife, had been killed and she had a baby, so they were basically gonna start their life. And the way he's explaining this, he's basically distraught, and he's crumbling to pieces. He's disoriented, and he's just telling all this to Leah, and I'm like, oh my god, he broke my heart, honestly. But he kept on going. He just went into battle, and that was so sad to read. I was feeling his pain, honestly. That was such an emotional scene for me. Also, the other scene that was really emotional was basically when Leah experienced and got to see the death of Walter also, because basically they're surrounded by Vendans, and this is basically what's happening, because Vendans are trying to take over, and between Dalbreak and Morgan, they're trying to form an alliance. Unfortunately, there were only 30 men from the Morgan scene's soldiers, and Walter was one of them, and there were like 200 to 300 Vendans. They were basically outnumbered. This was a massacre, and she got to see and experience, and she couldn't do anything, obviously, the death of her brother. Man, that part just ripped me apart. It broke me to pieces, and I was like, oh, this can't be happening. Honestly, this can't be happening. It was really sad to read, honestly, and it just brought tears to my eyes. What I am trying to wonder is, from Catelyn's group, is Grizz like a double not assassin, what am I saying, is he like a spy? Because it does say that he doesn't speak Morgan. See, he doesn't speak anything Morgan, and then basically near the end, he begins to speak Morgan to Leah, and it's something just between them. He's like, oh, keep it just between us, and I'm like, is he a double spy? But I'm eventually gonna find out in excuse me, in the second book, which is The Heart of Betrayal. And I did start reading it. That's why I'm like intertwining both. So I'm trying not to say too much, because I already have some things in my mind from The Heart of Betrayal, and obviously The Kiss of Deception, that I really don't want to intertwine. But honestly, I did love excuse me, I did love Leah. She was an amazing character. You got to feel her, and she wasn't that naive little princess. I felt with her, and I loved her character. There's also Raph. I say Raph, which is the prince, and I really did like his portrayal. And Catelyn, he was amazing. Pauline, she's just cute, honestly. There are points in times when Pauline just gets on my nerves, but Gwyneth, she does have a background to her. But this was an amazing reading, and I am gonna read it again. I am gonna reread it again, just because now I know who's who, so I can be like, oh, okay, you're not surprising me anymore. But honestly, The Kiss of Deception, an amazing book. I suggest you read it. I loved it. It was a bit predictable at times, like I said. First 7 chapters are a little bit slow, but bear with it. But don't stop reading it, because this book, it's amazing. It'll hook you, and it'll keep you wanting more. This was amazing. I loved it. It was brilliantly written. It was executed perfectly, and I can't wait. I can't wait to finish The Heart of Betrayal. And next year, I can't wait for the 3rd and final book. So just read it. Just sit down, drink some coffee, disconnect from the world, and just read it. It was an amazing reading, and nothing. I want to thank you for watching, and until next time, peace out.